Hello again! It's me, Knut Andre Vikshåland. I have just made a finished painting, which I'm going to show you. And I'm going to post a video on YouTube as usual. And this is the painting. This is the photo I painted it from. And this is the result. And I have been working with building light. As you can see, it's very thick colors, built like almost like clay to create this vivid bright light effect, which is actually in that photo. Yeah, and it's not so much detail, it's just colors, as you can see, maybe, yeah. They are a little bit more vivid on photograph than in reality, but that's how it is. So you can watch this beauty, I almost said, come into the world. So yeah. As usual, I'll ask you to share my videos, subscribe to my channel, give it a thumbs up, even if you don't like it. And subscribe. You can also donate a little bit if you find videos helpful. There's a button up there and also a button to my Patreon, which I'm gonna start building out soon. Okay, have a good one and stay cool, stay painting. So there I am again. Okay, I'm starting up a small project, small painting, which I'm gonna show you what I'm gonna do. Okay, here it is. It is a girl, actually an ex-Victoria, and a nice girl. It is very bright, and that spot of light is coming in through the window in the evening and hits her face and background, and it's going to be fun to work with. It has this Vermeerish kind of feel to it. I might also make a big one of it later, but this one is going to be on that canvas. It's 70.70 centimeters in diameter, and it's going to an exhibition in my home Iceland Kamei in Haugesund in Norway. So I need to paint like crazy on it to get it finished, and I'm gonna make this small video of the process. So stay cool and keep watching. So it's now 4 in the morning. Crazy, I always start late. Not that this late though. Okay, the first thing I do is I measure the head. It's almost approximately one, like this. I think 1, 2, and 2 little over a half. So what I then do, I just put a mark. I see and I put a mark here. And I can put a mark under, maybe it's here. I'm not sure, but then I measure, and it's approximately 1, and it's 1, 2, and not enough. Okay, then I have to probably move it, yeah, I have to move it down a little bit. I see that now. Because it's very tricky to, and there, that's the light part, behind like this, and it wasn't necessarily the head, was too, okay, it was too, a little bit too little. Now it's 1 again, and it's 1, 2, and there was better. Now I was a little bit too, so I would say here, approximately 1, 2, that was 3, so now, okay, I'll go for, was it this one? 1, 2, yeah, okay, I go for this. From there, no, from there to, yeah, here. So, what do I do now? Well, I start with putting in some light. I use the background, that's why I start on a darker canvas. Here it is been done dark with Old Holland, darker with Old Holland's umber. It is quite neutral color, and it also has some of that color in the background. So, but the thing is that I start on the dark, and I just get I start with the dark and I kind of go towards the light, because now you see the shape is coming out of the dark canvas. You just have to set down. It's always approximately when I do this. It isn't, I do, as you can see, I don't use any projector or anything like that. I would consider that cheating. That would be way too easy. So I do it the hard way. I also know that most artists in history used to, many artists, I don't know if Rembrandt did that, but I know he made gazelles, kind of rough paintings with only neons, and filled in the colors afterwards. I kind of like to do both things at the same time. Now I have just gotten the figure in, as you can see. That took me 3 minutes. So then I just start to go in and I put in some of the darker stuff here. Just mark it. Right here is falling down, shoulder, and like this. The shadow comes in here. And like this. And her nose comes around here. It's a very nice picture. I took a lot of them. I have a hard drive full of these from 2011 actually. And sadly the hard drive broke down, so I still have it on it. Thought about delivering it. And luckily I took care of some of the photographs, so I didn't lose it all, and I have some where she's dancing, and she's a dancer, and it's really nice. See, now I just mark it. It's coming around, it looks like here, eye, mouth, nose. Just to see if I can get it a little bit okay. So, but then it is the filling in. When I start filling in, that is when the fun begins. Then I start moving stuff around and really enjoy myself. I love that light. The sun is just hitting so nicely into that room. It was an evening, and yeah, I still remember it. It's 2000, I guess it was 2011 summer. Time flies. Fuck, it's like 6 years ago. Crazy. 5 years ago, 6. Makes you think. I mean, we only live for about, in the West or in Norway, for about 81 years or something like that. And thinking about 5 years is actually a lot of time. It's a big chunk of your life. And you don't realize that until you get a little bit older. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off and I'm going to put it back on in a while. So, it's taking shape a little bit, if you can see. I have to keep this very white or thick and dissolved in a way. Maybe we can focus a little bit more. Okay. I just laying in thick colors in the whites and the white parts, which means I need some more white. I use Old Holland titanium white. It is a white that is very thick and clay-like, which I like. It reminds me a little bit of lead white, actually, which I used many years ago when it was still legal. But you can't really get it so easily now because there's too many restrictions. Silly, really, because you basically have to eat it to get sick. So it's ridiculous. I know there are people who makes it. I've seen some videos how they make lead white, and it's a pretty cool process. But it's too much stress. But the Old Holland, in general, the Old Holland color is very good if you want to paint very pastels, like I do here. I just try to, because when the color is thick, it has a tendency to stick better to the canvas, and I just put it on like this. That's how I get this. It's like, I don't really know. I probably change a lot of stuff, so I shouldn't put on too much here, but And there are also some yellow and green in it, so I also put in some color into it. But then I always paint over many times until it's finished. So it doesn't really matter how much I put in. It's just nice to see that if you put colors into the white, you can actually get a more lively surface. You know, it's color in it, and if it's just white, it's just white. But if you put some colors into it, it starts to liven up a bit. It's easier to judge what you're going to do next, in my opinion, anyway. Let's see here. When I then build in the dark, this comes right out. And in the dark it is all kinds of colors, but it's usually, since you have a lot of reddish and greenish, it is always blue and red and violet, and so. And I use a little bit of ivory black in it in the darkest areas. But you never use black alone, because that is not really, that becomes just a dead surface. So if you're going to use black, remember to have more color in it than actually black. The black is just to push down blue, or push down red, or push down to the right hue you want. See how loose I do the sketches. It's like playful, quite playful, and just get things in approximately, and there's an oven behind her. Really nice place actually they have there. Yeah. I'm going to build this Dalmerish thing. I'm going to do a lot of paintings in these sizes, because I tend to make a lot of big stuff. And when I was in New York now, he said, well, there's a lot of people in New York that has money, but not everybody can have 2.2 meters paintings on the wall, and I also have so much material. I have so much material I can use for painting, that if I'm gonna be able to do a lot of these paintings before I die, I really need to make some smaller stuff, because I'm not going to be able to get anywhere with it. Plus it's, as I say, easier to sell them, and I also have to make a living. So I'm going to do this. This is 70.70 centimeters, and it's a very nice size with a frame that comes out here like 15 centimeters. It's like 1.1 meter, and it can basically fit in any home. So yeah. And I also start doing drawings in the sizes. So, here's very dark in here. Actually, this is a place where I can use more of the black. And I put some red into it, because the green, then it's complementary to the green and yellows that is in here. So I can actually see there's a lot of red in the black, or in the dark. So it's always the complementary spectrum, even in the shadows. Candle, oven, yarn, background start here, and then you see how it starts to, there's some stuff behind here. Always a distance from this to the face and the size. These things are the things that are difficult to see, because your brain tend to want to paint symbols instead of what's actually there, so you have to be careful with the difference in, like here now, I didn't go far enough, and there's just a stripe here, so it's all the way over there actually, and like that. And you have to notice that, or you do a lot of mistakes, which takes a lot of time to correct. Okay. So how long have I been yapping around? Okay, 10 minutes. Maybe I should just do 10-minute bursts. I mean, there's enough long videos on my YouTube channel for people to see anyway. So, yeah. I will just keep on posting videos, even if people even if it's such an extreme success. It will gradually, slowly grow, and that's fine with me. The people who like them very good, so that's good enough for me. So, anyway, a few more later, so you can see how it became. Okay. So, well, I'm starting to work myself down. I'm gonna cover the whole thing, and then I'm gonna, in a way, make layer number 2 at the same time, because I'm gonna do wet in wet, because there are so many things, and see how far I can get tonight. You see all the details now. I will do the feature round first, so I get more oversights. You don't want to be hung up in too much detail in the beginning, unless you of course are doing totally photorealism, but as you know, not my goal. My goal is to create painted surfaces, and so there's some sculptures here. Of course I'm going to go into detail, but there's a candle behind her, and here it comes down there. There's a shelf on the oven. It goes in like this. And these actually, I would like to make these because of the light, but they are actually a little bit more like a rectangle. No. Yeah. No, rectangle is a... Okay, whatever. They are more like this. The photograph are more like this, and I would like to maybe do both, do two of these in bigger versions, because they're really beautiful, and I get to work with all these very strong light spots or whatever. Yeah. Blah blah blah. Okay. That's the oven behind her here. You see how rough I go in when I do? That is, I couldn't have done that in the beginning. So, if you're a beginner, you have to be a little bit more careful, because you do not want to do too much mistakes, as I say. And so, if you're just starting up, you have to be more careful with drawing, because you're basically not that good a drawer. So, you see, I change things all the time. I thought it was there, but it was actually there, and then I come here, and then I start to use a mirror like this. I take a mirror, and I compare the photograph and the painting, and then I usually see the mistakes, because you get a more objective distance to it when you see it in a mirror. For some reason, the brain actually sees it more easy. And if you get really into trouble, you can turn it upside down. That will actually make your brain distance itself from symbols and just see the painting as shapes and colors. Now, I'm only going to do 10 minutes per minute bursts. Try to make some of my videos. I'm going to do one video that will be very long. This one will be called The Art of Painting. I'm going to take one of my most beautiful photographs. I'm going to do like Vermeer, put all my skill, all my patience, all my everything is going to go into the painting, and there will be a long video where I will explain everything from colors I use to painting the faces, and try to make the ultimate instruction video. The thing is that these videos help me to get a more objective distance, because I usually, actually, when I'm with friends or stuff, I usually don't talk about painting at all. First of all, I don't have that many painting friends. I have one, which I consider a friend, and I don't have so many artist friends. I'm not that actually into art either. It's kind of more into politics and atheism and stuff like that. So that's what I talk about when I'm with friends, usually. So I have another YouTube channel that I think I want to start building up, where I just talk about topics, shit that happens in the world, but I'm not sure. I don't want to have it on this channel because the stuff I will talk about will be demonetized and stuff like that. So I want this to grow and not hit the wall. But anyway, we all have a voice, and I think it's, since I have kind of both have an audience on Facebook and not so much Twitter actually. My Twitter account doesn't grow, it's annoying. But my Instagram account is growing, and the Facebook is quite good. I have 2 pages there. So I'm starting to have a small but captive audience, as I say. And maybe I can, instead of having all these thoughts in my head and bother friends with it, maybe I should try to get it out on YouTube. You see now how it is? I'll just keep putting things in, and there's a little statue behind here too of I think it's a samurai or something. Not that you're going to see it on the painting. And here too, how I think the breast comes out here, and the statue is actually here. Create a good contrast, and there's also some black in it, or very dark colors. So just put this in, and also explains where the hand comes. I have so many thoughts in my head. I have some interviews on the channel, and I hope to maybe get a friend of mine to make a small documentary. I have interview when I was in New York, the Dacia Gallery, which is in Norwegian, so it's not something for my English audience, English speaking audience. But I think I want to have it added a text to it. Actually, I don't like reading text myself, so I can see why people hasn't view the ones with text and not English on that much. Okay, I'll be back, as he said. Yay, there I am again. Now I'm finished with a main sketch, which means I've been going over the whole thing with paint. So what I want to do now is to just start down here. Oops. Like I want to mold or go in and make what's called a gazelle with color, and kind of get in quite correctly some of the first thick layers of color. And when I've done that, I will let it dry for a while, for a few days, and then I can go back and just keep working on it. Because if I put on the thick layers now, I don't have to build that much more texture. I can only keep building other things like the face. It's so bright here that you can't almost see how the nuances is. So see the face actually, it's just a very bright lump of light. I can actually see, but yeah, okay, you know what I mean. So try to work a little bit in directions. I'll have to see if I don't do any grave mistakes, because when you lay thick layers of paint, it's not good to do mistakes, big mistakes anyway. Let's pencil. So go in with some dark, some shadows to enhance it. See, there's a very bright behind here, and that's the thing with the classical way of painting. They were building, in a way, they were building a sculpture. Many, like Rembrandt, were building kind of a sculpture or relief. So I think they were thinking like that. That's how I view it. And if you understand that, I think it's much more easy to do the painting. Mm-hmm. See, now it's kind of falling into place. Now it's like 7 in the morning, must have been. I can feel I'm getting a little bit tired. I didn't get so much sleep yesterday, so I should get some more sleep tonight or today. Funny thing, I always work at night and sleep much of the day. It's going to keep my skin good because 70% of skin aging is from sunlight, so I'm going to be maybe a good looking corpse. Yeah. So now I haven't done the sketch, so I just go in and I start molding the directions. I should start doing sculpture. I used to do it, I did it in art school. I haven't done it since, but I always wanted to do that. And it's like the piano thing. I would like to play the piano, but I haven't started on it, you know, it's so silly. And my life will end someday, and I'm going to think when I'm dying, oh, I never bought that piano. Or I think, oh, I'm going to wait until I get a different studio or at my... And maybe I should just do it. Or maybe I should just concentrate about the painting and my writing. Because I have so much to do. I want to write, I want to paint, I want to do charcoal, I want to do sculpture. There's so much I want to do, so maybe playing the piano is to take it a little bit too far. That's what my mom says anyway. I need to concentrate on one thing. No, she's not talking like that. She's Norwegian. So. Well. See now, already now I'm starting to mold it. And then you see that the light over here, I don't know if you can see it, but the light over here starts to kind of fall into place. And that's the whole thing. That is also so nice with this painting because it is so Impressionist. The photo I'm using is so Impressionist. So it's very important. What I should have every month is a finished self-portrait, a finished big still life of objects, some smaller ones, a drawing, and one big painting every month. And that's my, or even more, I should, because how I really love to paint. It's my release, it's my life, it's my challenge, it's everything. Despite that, it's always difficult to get started, it's difficult to keep focused, it's difficult to have to struggle every day with your own mediocrity or your own problems. But it doesn't get better if you throw away a lot of time on distractions, like dumb TV series and all kinds of shit. See now, it's kind of just a mush, but it's a good mush. No, it's not a mush, it's a griselle. If you go to the museums, you will see the unfinished paintings of Rembrandt or other painters. So I know there are some griselles that never got finished. That were just, and they used grey. They didn't put in the colors like I do, but it's probably because they had to save their colors, because colors at that time, colors were very expensive. And I guess they built it up like that to save the colors to last. But now it's like you can go and you can buy high quality paint for a relatively good price. Thus you have to pay a little bit more if you want Old Holland or some good paint. I'm talking so much about Old Holland that I just think maybe I should call them and ask if they will support my channel. I can actually do some commercial for them. Not that I have that many views, but it will keep growing, so if they step in now, I might get a good price. I believe this is going to be quite nice, quite classic. And you're going to see it evolve. A lot of flowers on this, and maybe I should put some of them in now. The thing is, when you become a better painter, you start to see it quite differently. You start to see into the future in a much better way. You can see the results, how you're going to get there, what is the worst struggles, like a portrait I'm doing now that it's a woman on a beach and there's no light hitting her face, and it's so difficult to get it right because it's only very hard to see all the nuances. You really have to concentrate. You have to have a very good day to be able to paint on it because it's so difficult. But it's and I foresaw that actually before I started on it. What I didn't foresee was actually how much problems I would get and how much I would get into that love and hate situation where you really, some days you just want to dump it and give the people who commissioned it the money back and say, fuck it, can't do this. But that is not the right way to go, because that means that you would cave into pressure. And whatever you do, you don't cave into pressure. I haven't done any big mistakes in the painting, and it's just to get it to look like what I'm actually painting. And that is the challenge I actually appreciate, so I'm gonna make it happen if it's gonna kill me. Okay. It's kind of slowly turning into something. Later I will see all these, there will be kind of yellows up here later. I can then go in and you just put them in like this, so you get that feel of cloth. And yeah. So yeah, okay. Okay, I just need to play some music and get into my deep, deep, deep flow, so I am actually able to see what I'm doing properly, yes. So. Work up here too. This is going to be a little bit higher, or maybe I actually did a little bit mistake when I painted it in, because it seems like I have painted it a little bit longer down. I can live with that. You know, when I'm not using well, I never use it actually. When I don't use Projecto, I can't get it 100%, and that's nice because I'm not trying to create that. It should be about 1, so maybe it's just, it can be sometimes 1, 2, and this is quite correct actually. What confuses me is maybe I have put a little bit more to that side. It should have been a little bit more in the middle. I don't know. Or it can be just visual illusion that because of the colors now are so unfinished, I can't really see how it will be in the end because things aren't put in its place yet. It's like there's too much clay there or too little there. And that's not actually correct. So, but that's fine. It's really yellow. I love when you can take clean colors and just whoosh, you get this vivid, beautiful thing. It's like the rainbows seeing it. And then take some blue and I make it more like into the green. And that's how I do it. I can put some red into it. And then you get all the rainbows, the color of the rainbows into it. And yeah, you start to live. It's alive. Anyway, I'm going to play some music and go into my space. Okay. Wow, 21 minutes. And voila. So, here it is. The finished sketch. You can see. Maybe I can take this off and show you. Yeah, sorry about this. Okay, as you can see, it's quite rough, and the colors here are extremely thick layers of color. That kind of here it has to dry for a while until I can actually put on layer number 2. You can see how the brush strokes, how I just pile on the colors to get this very bright light thing. And yeah, I was wondering about making 2 videos, but I'm gonna put this into 1 video. Okay, so next step is from this sketch to finish work. So then I'm gonna put on some retouché vernis. I actually got that question the other day, and that's what I do between the layers to get the shadows and stuff out. I have to be a little bit careful here because it's only dry on the surface on the thick layers, and I don't want to make a mess out of it. So I'm going to use this big brush places where there isn't so much paint, and I use a smaller one, gentler one on the other places, like around here, face and so. So okay. Let me see. And always when you do this, be sure that your brush are mess it up. It might dissolve a little bit right here because it's not dry underneath, but when I put in very thick layers, as you probably saw earlier in the video. So I'll just go in here, and I'm going to put on a lasur also before I start working with it. I don't need so much here actually because it's so thick, but I just want to be able to see some of the depth and the shadow. Also up here. So I'm not even sure if I need a lasur right now because it's so rough anyway. See, it dissolved a little bit and bang, I took it right into there, but we're going to paint over it anyway, so it's not that important. Okay, I think that will do it for now. This is Old Holland Retusche Vernis, and you can probably buy it online and in any painter store. So yeah. Okay. So, it's always quite exciting to start fresh. I have been painting on some other stuff before this, so my pencils aren't totally... Now I'm going to focus a little bit more on the piece I'm going to paint on, and that is the face. And around there. So see how I start. Okay. Okay, I'll start with I'll start up here because I just need to. It's funny because when you start up, you kind of have to connect with a motive. You have to connect, so you start being able to foresee what happens. And before I just do this to get a start on a place where mistakes doesn't matter. There's going to be a very clear shadow here to create that depth. And it goes down here. And then I start, see now, painting all of that again. Just want some blue on it. So. And I just use my medium, the 70% turpentine and linseed oil, cooked linseed oil. And I just wash the brush with it, and then some of the oil and stuff, maybe I take a little bit, but after a while when you paint, the oil is getting into the different colors, and it's like it gets into gets into the brush and the paint anyway, because if I put it straight into the paint it becomes way too fluid, and I really don't like that unless I am doing some really thin aquarellish strokes or overpainting paints. It's so fun because the light I hear here, so from behind here, and kind of flows into the red hair. She has a beautiful red, long red hair. Redheads, so I really love them. I always liked redheads. I think it's from my childhood. One of the first girl I kissed, actually, her name was Annette, and she had thick red hair, and I still remember it like it was yesterday. It's like so funny. So I guess that is why I remember it so well. Always been a sucker for red hair. It's so extreme also, it's so different, and I like the things that are different. So I have friends who actually hate redhead girl. They don't, they can't stand it. I don't get it. I love the pale skin, I love how they smell, I love their freckles, if they have freckles. It's so strange. I find freckles so sexy. And also, if they have totally dark hair and freckles, especially around their nose and stuff, I just think it's so amazing. So, and they need to have, of course, I also like the broad hips and typical pear-shaped female body. So that's how I like it. As some of my friends are saying, when I say a girl is beautiful, they sometimes go, "Oh, she's fat." And I say, "No, she's not fat. She's gorgeous. She's so sexy and full of nice female hormones and shape." You can actually smell. I think redheads can have more pheromones or something. I don't know what it is, but it's something so attractive. Yeah. And the girls with the broad hips also has this. It sends out such smell that I pick up. It's just screams from, "I can make pretty babies." Anyway. That was kind of a digression, I guess. So it hits behind here, here. But I can't just put it on that. I have to have some connection with it, which means that kind of drag down this and get some colors into it and make it a little bit more fluid. And that's why it takes time. It's back and forth until you reach a point where you start liking it, or at least feel that it's a little bit black though. This is just layers, just brush strokes that start to make a shape that, yeah, whatever. I need to fall into my deep flow soon to get it right. See, I do mix, but usually I don't only mix two colors at a time. Yeah, that was wrong. And also difficult to get it right. Too much white kills the light. Too little light also kills the light. Too much black kills the light. Too little kills the light. Too much color. So many things to concentrate about. And yeah. It's going to be a little bit lower down here. See that? There's also a beautiful hair coming in here, but I'm going to do that in the end because I can't do everything at the same time. You see, the sun is just hitting straight in there and creates this beautiful, intense spot of light. And I love it. Yes, I do. Now inside the light there, it is kind of blue with some red in it. You know, it's orange and yellow. The white actually looks yellow to me and green. And it can be towards that too, because the red are there are reds in it, and there's many colors. So I will start with a red and blue, so it is a little bit vivid violet, I think. Maybe? No. It is... it's kind of bluish. Yeah, it's more like... I need some blue in it. And probably some yellow. You see now. And perhaps some oil too. And it comes in here and it creates, and it just, yeah. It's yellow over there. I must not have too much color in it because then it kills the white, and it must be exactly enough not to kill the light. So there's some yellow over there. It's too much. You have to kind of create all the colors of the rainbow is in the sunlight, and you just have to think. You have to, in a way, you have to think like nature. Everybody knows, rational people like me, science geeks, know that nature doesn't think. But if nature had a brain, it would think like that. Okay, how to create as much punch in the light as I can? Well, I have to add this and that and put these colors up against each other to create this feeling of light actually not being inside the canvas but coming out from the canvas, like almost like a lamp or a light source coming out. Yeah. And to do that you have to think like a sun ray or lamp. How does it really work? So, yeah, it was a little bit more shape that comes in there. Actually, or was it? No, it was wrong, I think. Well, just use this and take it away. I'll turn it off now and I'll paint for a while and I'll film more later. Okay. Gosh, that was 20 minutes. Damn. Yep. Getting some shape to this now. Trying to get the shadow behind her correct. So important that the shadows repeat the shape it comes from, or it will look really strange. See, I've been working a lot with the lights and stuff. And yeah, this one actually didn't see that until now. It goes up like this. That's actually logical. And now I just dig into the wet white color that is already there, so I can use that to create the feeling of the shadow actually hitting the wall. And then I do some lazur and stuff later when I do another layer. Getting quite tired now. Ooh. Down here, it goes in there, and no, it goes further down. It's really hard to, like that. Okay, now it's getting somewhere. Now I'm painting wet in wet. So it's going to be a little bit over here. Yeah, that's the problem. I kept on making this bigger, but I actually was going to be more in there. So that's also a mistake one can easily do, and we start moving the wrong things around. So many different things I suddenly see, and so annoying that I'm just tired now. I really have problems with focusing right. Oh, that's too great. Look at this shit. This was so our shadows getting a little bit better. Mm-hmm. And like this. hair is now falling down on my shoulder. It's much more natural. But I need to get some sleep, and I'll continue with it later. If I can actually manage to tear myself away from it. Kind of starting to feel a little bit like death here, so I need to go to the gym tomorrow before I start working and stretch. Just going to put in some of the lights. So it's also underneath. There's not much detail in this painting because of the light, and it also from a digital camera, and it tends to not give as much information as my analog photographs, but that's okay. So I do actually like analog photographing best, but I sometimes work with that's the wrong color. See, it didn't become light because there was too much dirty color in it, so I just have to remove it. Try it out. Okay, a little bit of yellow, since the hands are kind of like red, or in the reddish realm, to create some kind of a complementary color, a little bit of greenish and yellow in together, so it actually in the end feels like sunlight. Way too yellow. Okay, I'm starting to get tired. Yeah, it's better. It still doesn't feel like it hit something. But that's because I haven't done this stuff around. And when I do these things around, it becomes more contrast and the whites will pop out like actual light. A little bit of red. And you see I use the paint almost like clay. And to create some shadow under there. A more pure yellow around here, because it goes a little bit more into the dark. And there's some reddish and yellow there also. It's way too big. This one became too big, so I have to get it smaller. Just do like this. And I put on some more white down here. Blue, probably. I didn't get that right intensity yet, but when I damp down everything around, I hopefully will find that inner light that I'm looking for. Can't be, the things around can't be too white, because then everything just fucking dies. And see, now it's starting to come a little bit more to life. Do this. Yeah. Still doesn't look like pure sunlight, but hopefully in the end it will. Yeah. That's not so bad. It's a lot of yellow and red leather. that much. This maybe. But I am way too tired to see this properly now. I mean, so I really need to quit. Last one, just to put on some groundwork. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Okay, to be continued. So, Zimzalabim. As you can see, I've been working more around here. Maybe I should focus out a little bit, so you can see. Been working with the lights and everything. Now I'm gonna actually doing some detail work around here, and actually I'm on the right track. Yeah, I'm using glasses. Makes me seem very smart because I'm a little bit, I'm 49 years old, and suddenly it's not every day. If I haven't been sleeping enough, or if I have been eating too much sugar, so my blood sugar goes up and down. I'm actually good at not doing that, but I'm painting for a long time, and I feel I get a little bit foggy because I'm starting to get long-sighted. So when I stand here and don't use glasses, it's totally clear. When I go in here, it's start to get a little bit blurry. So when I'm doing detailed work, I need to use some glasses now, and it's kind of fucked up because I always have this perfect vision, but some days it's totally good. So depends on what I eat, how much I sleep, and yeah. Anyway, that is also why I think some of Rembrandt's paintings were so dissolved, because his eyesight probably also deteriorated over time, and also now he was drinking a lot and stuff, and that of course contributes to the eyes getting fucked up. And maybe he actually started to go not blind, but lost much of his clear sight. So his paintings became more and more dissolved. Of course, he became also more and more a painter, but I think that might contribute it. I never heard anyone say that, but that's what I see myself, because when I don't use glasses at all on a painting, and I put them on, I suddenly see more of the texture and brush strokes, and it's kind of shocking, but it's also nice because you let more of the good stuff stay in the painting instead of working over it. I'm always trying to make these videos not that long, but then I get into my rants and I just keep filming, and they wind up being 2 hours when I actually were thinking of only making them an hour or less actually. But then again, who cares? Maybe it's a good thing. I'm documenting my life, my artist's life, the life of Knut Andre Vikshåland. Knut Andre Vikshåland. My name is Knut Andre Vikshåland, so now you know, that's how you pronounce it. For Americans and people from England, it's almost impossible. It's quite funny, because they say Knut or Knut. You can't say K for some reason. In the Norwegian way, of course, which is K. Not K, but K in Norwegian. It's quite difficult for people from English-speaking countries. Yeah, blah blah blah. I feel great today. I've been playing music. I think I want to do some streaming afterwards on Facebook. Put on some music and just, yeah. That's a shame actually. I wish that people who makes music could actually let people use it as a background, not for the music itself, use the music, but I mean it's not good quality anyway. If you want to listen to U2 or Coldplay or Cure or whatever, you want to listen to classical music in the background, which I've also done. I have used some music in the background, but then your videos get demonetized because all the revenue goes to the person that owns the music, and that is kind of fine as long as you can use it. But it would be great if you can use it like not directly but indirectly, so we can make the videos maybe better. Anyway, I'm a dreamer. I mean, if you're U2, do you really need more money? Do you really need to be so extreme on this copyright thing? I mean, I have used debates and stuff about religion and science, and also usually I try to post the links to the original material, so people can go to the source and see the videos and get in good quality. And I think that is a good way to promote other people's art. But then again, I guess that's how it is. That's why I like science, because in science you share information. And we don't do copywriting. Well, the pharmaceutical industry does it, but scientists in general, they don't copyright their own. Like Einstein didn't copyright his findings about the universe. It is common knowledge and can be used by anyone, any scientist to create work. And it's like me, I'm giving away my knowledge for free. I don't copyright it. I copyright, of course, my paintings, but if somebody want to copy my paintings or try to make paintings of mine, I take it as a compliment. Doesn't matter. Of course, if they try to sell it as mine, it's different. Yeah. Like the guy once, he taken my paintings and made Christmas cards or postcards or something, and he tried to sell them without my permission. And that was kind of... You should have asked. I probably would have said, yeah, that's cool, just get my artist information on the backside or some web page or something. You can do that if you like. You can't sell them as artwork, but you can sell them as postcards. It wouldn't be a problem. I can't see the problem. Didn't get a pencil. I'm so full of energy today. After listening to music. Saturday night, usually I would be out, hang out with some friends on Saturday. But I have to finish this painting for an exhibition. So, and it doesn't bother me. It used to bother me more if I had to be home in a weekend and paint, but now it doesn't bother me at all. I just feel great. Actually, it feels great. Yeah. Okay. Now I work in directions, and I think it's going to be quite nice in the end when I get all the shadows in. And this palette is starting to become very dirty, and I should change it. I just take the rest of the use and the color I can use, and I just transfer it to another palette and keep on working, because this is old Holland paint, and you don't want to throw away a lot of old Holland paint. It's quite expensive paint, so you should actually use it. See, I kind of go in and I start molding it in many different ways. Now it's like I'm drawing almost like a charcoal. In the beginning it's just brush strokes, then I start to link the different layers and directions together. Fuck, I haven't felt this awake in a long time. But when I do long, it is very important not to fill up your stomach, at least for me, not to fill up your stomach with a lot of food when you are painting. Eat very small meals and actually be a little bit hungry, because as a man you get more testosterone when you're hungry. Of course not if you go hungry for days, but I think it probably puts the body into hunting mode or war mode. So you start hunting for food, and it makes your brain sharper. And that happens when I don't starve myself. I eat some fruit, and I have a little bit of fish, and I drink a lot of coffee, some lemon water and stuff, but I try to not pile on. What I do when I'm finished painting, I'm making some fish, or chicken, or chicken or something, and a lot of vegetables, like broccoli and spinach, asparagus, mushrooms, and I eat a very healthy meal, like an hour before I go to bed, so my body can have good vitamins to restitute my brain and stuff when I sleep, because that is when the body actually restitutes. If you don't sleep, you can't build muscle, you can't build neurons in your brain, you can't memory will not be you won't be able to store memory, because this is a job that the brain is doing when you're sleeping. So if you paint all night and you want to be a good painter, do not drink alcohol, because then you won't be able to create memories. And don't eat too much sugar or junk food, and get enough sleep, because when you sleep after painting, your brain stores memories, build stronger connections in your neurons in your brain, and you get a better painter. It's also the same with studying. No alcohol while studying. That is a big mistake the students do. They study all day, then they go out drinking, and then they can't remember shit the day after. And there's a very common, very simple physical reason for this, and that is that the brain can't store memories after drinking alcohol. And you don't need to drink much. 2 or 3 glasses is enough, and it's over. And you know, when you're a student or a painter, you don't like 2 or 3 glasses. You want the whole bottle. You want to get high. So if you want to get high, and it's the same thing with other drugs too. So you want to get high, you want to have fun. Take a day a month, or a day a week, or whatever, how often you want to do it, and have a party, and when that's finished, you go back to work and do your job. You know, that is my recommendation, coming in a video form to a YouTube channel near you. So, trying to finish, go over the face a little bit, and try to finish it tonight. So maybe tomorrow, depends how it goes. It's not easy to say. Sometimes, boom, it doesn't take that much time, but other times it takes a lot of time, and it becomes quite exhausting. So we'll see how it goes. I have a few paintings to work with for the next 12 hours, so I should just keep piling on. Actually, I need to work like 12-hour shift today, and that's fine. I like to work, so See, I put in a lovely lazur, so I get some more contrasts into it. brings out some of the shape. Yeah. Also try to put it into the wide areas to get more dynamic textures there. You see the light here is so bright that it's very hard to see any real detail, so yeah, I have to go for neons. The thing is, when you go for neons, you have to get it right. If you start piling on too much, you start losing it, and it's kind of over. It's hard to say, but it's how it is. Oh, that was wrong. Yeah, that's better. There's also a line going there under her nose. It kind of explains her nose. That's a very difficult line because it's not really a line, as I've been saying 100 times before. There's no such thing as lines. There's only neons, but it kind of looks like a line. But it's not really a line, so I just have to, maybe I should just use the background to explain it and not put it in there. But I see that it is in the red, and the background is in the green and yellowish, so I will just try to get the background in the right color, and I will then go in with that reddish neons around her nose to get the right feel to it. Okay. Yeah. It's just a lot of light. And also her nostrils going a little bit more down than I actually thought. They're coming more down like this. Will look a little bit more natural. And here. This goes longer in. So I'll just use something like that. This is what I call surgery. I don't have so much to work with here because everything is in very bright colors and not so much. I can't really see very easily what is happening in the bright areas, so I just have to try to repeat exactly what I see, the light I see and the nuances I see, and try to forget that it actually is a face. And and give it a little bit personality. There's a rule, everything can always become better. And here's that reddish. Then I will kind of push it down a little bit with the white. And there's some brilliant gel something. Yeah. And the reason I put this photo on the canvas like this is that now I get a more direct communication between my brain and the motif. It's like the guy with Tim's Vermeer, which used this technique he developed to transfer it from in a way clair obscur to, and it's the same thing. I try to look and paint in a way. I try to lock in and see if I get it right compared to that all the time. So I try to, if I had it over there would be a little bit bigger distance to it. It would make it a little bit harder to see. Yeah. This can't be classically figurative. This is more like a Impressionist thing because of that light that hits. So it's a different way of thinking, a different way of painting. So, and I also need to let this slide. There is not really a line there, just it's just different nuances of white with different colors in them. I can see everything from blue to reddish to, so yeah. And it kind of crosses over, so just slide into each other. And it goes up here. And also one of the very important spots are at the cheek here to create that depth in the face. There's not much depth to work with, but I can make it happen anyway. It's a little bit strange. Or it is actually a little bit strange, so what am I to do? Oh, this is so difficult. Yeah, that's better. And yeah, that's better. I also need to bring up the yellow and the orange. This is how you kind of I create the light, and I just keep on enhancing things step by step. And in the end, it just falls into place. Well, later. Okie dokie dokie. Yeah, it's getting along actually, coming along. I have been doing, I'm at a point where I do what's called, well, I have some down here and around, but I'm kind of finished in this region, and working myself down to touching up stuff, and I'm gonna do also some tomorrow, but I think I'm really getting somewhere. It's it has been 8 hours, a stretch for 8 hours painting to come to this point today, and I still have a few paintings to go over, so I guess I'll be standing here until basically 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock. Then I will sleep for 7 hours, go down to the city and buy some stuff I'm gonna wrap them in, and I'll work through the night, yes, tomorrow, and try to finish them all. And if I don't get finished, I just take them home to my hometown and do some with them there. Because I also have a studio home, a home studio. So we'll do another 2 hours on this, and then I will finish an onion first, and then I'll see how far I can get. Maybe I'll finish the onion tomorrow, by the way, because it's maybe easier that way. See, easier for me to see. So I'm just gonna, it's a lot of work actually to do all these flowers, but I'm not gonna do all of them. That would be crazy. So I'm just gonna mark them in to get a little bit more dynamic, feeling of dynamic. Just too much happening in it. So just get the light in. And yeah. See, what I do when I do this is that I try to keep it very open, dynamic, so I can change everything all the time. And yeah. Let's see, I'm just gonna get in some more bluish red and I'll create this, build in some texture so it doesn't seem just dead in a way. It's also yellow. So many colors in a painting that has more bright colors. It's really a lot happening. Like an Impressionist painting. And there are reds and yellows and blues and all kinds of yes. The problem is I often get into this into the situation where I'm kind of out of time and it annoys me. So sometimes I don't feel I'm getting where I was supposed to go. But then again, a painting tends to evolve, and what you in the beginning thought was going to be a quite rough sketch or rougher some places in the sketch, you suddenly find yourself doing much more detail than you actually planned for. And you kind of have to accept that, because it has to be a dynamic process between you and the things that happens while painting. So hair can actually be that rough, because if you make it too, if I make it too much here, this will die, and it's very important that you keep some of it in this more sketch-like level. But that is in a nice way, not a random, or of course it's sometimes quite random, but that actually has some address to one another. Okay, I'm falling into my flow here, so. Okay. Anyway, I'm gonna stop filming now. And I'm gonna do some more filming when I have gone over this. Yeah. I really need to focus my mind. It is not so easy as it looks. Okay. This video will also be quite long, if you see now. Yeah. Okie dokie dokie. Then I'm almost finished with this painting. I'm going over it, doing a touch-up, putting on some lazur so I get more shadows and more punch into the light, which is very important. Let's see if it dissolved a little bit up there, because it isn't totally dry, so I need to be a little bit careful, I guess. It's very important to have a good contrast between the light and the dark, so you see when I kind of comes alive more. And yeah, there's some small things I'm gonna do. Even out some contrast like here. It's also kind of nice to have it not being totally photographic because I tend to leave some of the brush strokes, because it creates a living surface. But then again, it shouldn't be too randomly put on, because then you get the opposite effect, that it just feels like a whole lot of chaos actually, and that is not what I'm after. I put on French ultramarine, basically vernis, or not vernis, but lasur. So it kind of goes into the shadows, and it makes both shadows and all the other things a little bit deeper. That brings, of course, some more light. So I just go right over stuff like this, and I'll paint a little bit over that too, because I want to. I'm going to let this be quite loose for two reasons. It's a good contrast to things that are not as loose, and I'm actually out of time, so but it doesn't need to be all penciled out all over the place. See, I also put on some contrast here. So see, it kind of brightens up a little bit. And of course, when using the blue, and there's a lot of reddish and yellow, and it becomes the complementary contrasts are enhanced, and yeah. So I'm actually gonna painted one last year where she stands right in front, a small one, but I'm gonna take both these and I'm gonna make them bigger. Actually, the photo is like it's longer out, so you get more, and I'm gonna go, since it kind of looks like Vermeer, and one of my favorite painters are Vermeer, I'm gonna go crazy detailed on them and see how far I can actually push myself without losing the dynamic, and I'm looking forward to that. But I have also 30 other paintings and 4 commissioned work, 5 actually commissioned work to do right now, so I have enough to do, to put it mildly. Give it some more texture. take away some of the oil and some of the. And this too, when I drag it like this, I drag the surfaces more into one surface. Yeah. Some more down there. This. Now the textures are coming more. The brush strokes I put on coming more to its rights. Yeah. So there's something here. So yeah, I think that was nice. I'm going to do a few adjustments. So where? Yeah. Yes. There's some yellow here that I want. So it kind of gives it okay. Yeah. I really like this the end game in a way. Actually, I have to wrap these up, some of my paintings, and I'm gonna take a plane. 4 hours actually. So I'm standing here painting on a painting, which is actually bringing with me on a plane. And I need to take with me the photographs also, because just in case something happens, so I can fix them when I get there. You never know, it's better to be prepared than not prepared. There are, of course, details that I could have worked with longer, sad to say, but this is how far I got this time, so just have to be pleased with that. You see, I use the brush almost like a charcoal when I do these things, like gravure, or with a pencil because it's like I link everything together. And then you go over that again. You kind of bring out a little bit more shape by just toning it like this. You see, I use my finger, use your nails. You can do anything you like. Backside of the pencil, shake it up a little bit. This one is too bright. Turn that down. Do a small adjustment in this. So it gets a little bit more. I shouldn't go into detail now because I don't really have time. So I should stay on the right track. I shouldn't have taken this early flight because I could have finished all the paintings that I'm bringing with me. I have to finish them in my barn studio in my hometown. And as usual, that will drive my mother crazy because I'm never finished in time. Well, so no. Then I do like this and like this. And I'll link it together so it looks like a shadow. Shadow. Use warm and cold contrasts all over the place. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's better. So I'm just going to put on, there is a bright light coming, not bright light, but there is a light coming down there, which is in the blue, and I'm going to try and see what happens if I use ultramarine, no, cobalt, sorry. Cobalt blue there, because it seems like that's what it is. Yeah, and that was quite beautiful. It actually lightened it up a little bit, because if it's the sun is coming in there, it would be very typical to have this more cleaner blue somewhere anyway. So just a dash of more pure color. It gives it a lot of life. Yeah. Yeah, I think this should actually be okay. Okay, just going to put in a small highlight so it levels up a little bit, because it's actually metal. Just like this. There's some red in it. So I put first I do that, then I need more contrast. This, this, underneath. And underneath there, quite loose, no real detail, just so you can see that it has some shape and some punch to it. Okay, and of course there's a little bit of a thingy there to light it. So, shadow side. So, yeah, looks quite nice. Looks like a little bit dynamic. Not perfect. Doesn't need to be perfect. Okay, give it a little bit more round. Yeah, now I'm going into my frenzy, where my need to clarify starts to take over. Right now, that can't happen. So, I think that was a nice detail. Okay, yeah, I think this is good. So, I'm going to show you the thing with the frame after this. So, you enjoy the ride.